Everyone, back tuning into today's second video. I'm a bit late with today's second video because I've done the Stormwatch update. If you want to know what's going on with the storms over the next couple of days, a detailed look at the thunderstorms coming up and the heat today, check out the Stormwatch page. There's a nearly 10-minute video over there looking at all of the events coming up tonight and tomorrow. Looks like we're in for a very significant spell of thundery weather. This video is going to be looking at the rest of July and into August with the JMA and CFS models. Quite uncertain what's going on actually as we go through to the end of July and into August. The long range models aren't looking all that good, to be honest, but the shorter range models, at least for next week, suggesting that high pressure is just going to go on and on, keeping it very warm, if not hot at times, and mainly dry. So we've got a bit of a discrepancy really between the longer range stuff and the shorter range models. So I'll have a little bit of detail on that in a moment. Just to say about the advertising, this video advertising page is at gazweathers.com. Hit play on the video ad. You'll be helping to support gazweathers.com. Thanks very much for doing that. So just very quickly to recap on tonight's storms. This is the high resolution Euro 4 model from website Weather Online. You can find a link to Weather Online on my links page. We've got thunderstorms at midnight coming up from the south. They'll push northwards across England and Wales through the night. Here's the situation at 6 o'clock in the morning. Lots of heavy storms there. But it looks like a general massive rain stretched out from Wales to the Wash. It's not going to be quite that straightforward. These are thunderstorms, so some places within this wet area will stay dry and miss the storms altogether. I have to emphasise that. But there are going to be a lot of storms around, so you'll be pretty unlucky not to catch any storms, I think, tonight. And even if you don't get a storm over you, because it's night and the lightning travels a long way in the dark, you will certainly, I think, be seeing flashes of lightning if you're awake. If we go up to midday tomorrow, the storms push northwards in towards northern England. Things dry out further south-southeast and becomes very hot again. And then through tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, more storms break out. This is suggesting, particularly through the Midlands and down into southwest England, they'll push across, I think, in the rest of the eastern and central England through the course of Saturday evening and Saturday night, moving out of the way as we go through after midnight onto the eastern coast. The total precipitation expected with all of this, remember this is not generalised rainfall. There'll be localised downpours within this area, but we could see anything up to 80 millimetres in some places. That's certainly the suggestion with these purple colours here, pink to purple. I think we could be seeing anything up to 80 millimetres of rain, maybe a little bit more in some places. That is localised flash flooding type rain for some places, so very significant rain and thunderstorms coming up. Like I say, if you want to know more about it, check out the video on the Stormwatch page. This is the Central England temperature from Hadley, showing what's happened so far this summer. It's been a warm summer so far, not especially record-breaking, not a really hot summer, but it has been a very warm summer generally. Temperatures have been running around a degree above average temperature anomalies, so June came in at 15.1 with an anomaly of 1.1 degree above average, and July currently stands provisionally at 16.9, again 1 degree above average. So up to around the middle of summer, we're into the second half of summer now, of course past the 15th of July. Been a warm summer, we've been running around a degree above average, and if anything, that anomaly for July is going to tick up more over next week, because we really are in for a very warm week next week. These are the JMA 500 millibar height anomaly charts for the next month, so have a quick look at these. JMA Friday, of course, we always have a look at the month ahead on a Friday with the Japanese model. Blue colours extrapolating to low pressure, orange and yellow colours extrapolating to high pressure. The British Isles is just here. So for the coming week, which takes us from the 17th to the 24th of July, so the week that we're currently in, we've got a trough of low pressure to the west of the country, a ridge of high pressure to the northeast of the country, and in between those two, we're bringing up very warm, if not at times hot, southerly, southeasterly, possibly even easterly winds. So a bit of a battle really taking place over next week between the trough in the Atlantic, the ridge on the continent, and the battle really brings up that warm. So it is going to be a very warm week, I think, coming up next week. A lot of dry weather, but there will be thunderstorms threatening at times, particularly down to the southwest, I would think. Now, as we move through to the second weekly period, and this period takes us from the 24th to the 31st of July, so it'll be taking us right through to the end of July. We see that we lose the ridge a little bit up to the northeast. Actually, that's pushing more towards the north, going up towards Greenland. Got this trough of low pressure still in the Atlantic. That's still quite unsettled. In fact, it's perhaps more unsettled for the final week of July. And because we're losing that ridge to the northeast, the winds are probably, or the flow is probably becoming a little bit more Atlantic based, if anything. So that's perhaps a cooler signal as we go through to the final week of July. Temperature will probably be dropping back closer to normal. Still fairly unsettled, in fact perhaps a little bit more unsettled, if anything, with the Atlantic starting to push in. But it's not too bad for eastern parts of the country, more unsettled out to the west. And then as we go through to the final 2 weekly period, which takes us from the 31st of July to the 14th of August, quite interesting, because then we get this trough of low pressure setting up right over top of the country. I'm not sure about this, but if it's right, it's suggesting that it's going to be an unsettled start to August. The first couple of weeks could be quite unsettled, and with the trough sitting more or less over the country, that's quite a bit cooler as well, because the air is properly Atlantic based now, with that trough of low pressure. Not cold, but it's certainly a good deal cooler than we've experienced through much of July, certainly this middle part of July anyway. So if anything, we've seen a deterioration probably as we go through to August. This morning the Japanese model perhaps becoming more unsettled, and temperatures dropping as well. Have a look at the CFS 500 millibar height anomaly, anomalies for the next couple of months. This is for the month currently in, first of all July, and this is what the anomaly is showing. Again, the ridge is up to the northeast, the trough is in the Atlantic, and between the two we're bringing up this very warm southerly to southeast flows. That's a pretty good representation of what's happening right now. As we go through to the next anomaly, which is the anomaly for August, we see that again it's similar to the Japanese model actually. What the Japanese model is showing going into the first couple of weeks of August. Anyway, we lose that ridge to the northeast and push it further north up towards Greenland. We get this trough, not a deep trough, but a trough beginning to set up just to the southwest of the country, or over the country. Again, that could be fairly unsettled and a little bit cooler as well as we go through to August. So as I said at the start of the video, the longer range output seems to be indicating a cooler phase perhaps coming up as we go through to August. But again, certainly for the next week to 10 days, there's no sign of that on the shorter range charts. This is the city temperature forecast for Birmingham, showing that at the moment with very warm, that's where we are right now. It's seeing a drop coming along as we go through towards the latter stages of July. This is the 1st of August just here. Temperatures going back down to where they should be really, and then they never really recover. We stay around average, at times even a little bit below average going through the first half of August. Maybe a little bit of a tick up there as we go through to around the 20th of August, something like that, and then another drop going down towards the latter stages of August. Quite a cool sort of end to August, if that's right. And we never really get back up to where we are at the moment with those temperatures, where we do come close for a day or two around the 18th, 19th of August, just there. But the warmest phase of the summer, if this is right anyway, is going on right now. We won't see the temperatures going back up to where we are now in August. But these longer range models are highly experimental. This is the rainfall forecast from the CFS model, broken down into week period. Again, you can see all of these charts at the website weatherweb.net. You can find a link to WeatherWeb on my links page. This is for the week ending the 24th of July, so the week we're currently in, and it's seen quite a wettish week actually, and most of this is thunderstorms, of course, coming up over the next few days. I think as we get through to next week, it won't be that wet. As we go through to the second week period ending the 31st of July, again fairly unsettled, particularly perhaps more so for the northwest, not quite so bad down in the south and the southeast. The next week period takes us to the week ending the 7th of July. Again, there's showers around. It's not a complete washout by any means, but there are showers around. It's never truly settling down. Again, the worst of the rainfall, or the highest rainfall totals anyway, probably out to the west of the country. Perhaps a little bit drier as we go through to the week ending the 14th. Could bring in some sort of a ridge from the southwest then, although it's not totally dry, but it is drier during that weekly period. Our member week ending the 21st of August. Again, most of rainfall's in the northwest, perhaps not too bad in the south-southeast. The week ending the 28th of August, finally 6 weeks away, brings rainfall in right across the country. That looks like quite a wet week, a wet into August. So we saw on the city temperature forecast for Birmingham, the temperatures do drop quite a lot then as we go through towards the latter stages of August. So the longer range output is indicating quite a mixed sort of August really, and temperatures never sort of going back up to where they are right now. But I do have to emphasise these longer range models are highly experimental, and I don't think they've performed all that well this summer. I'm not that impressed with the Japanese model. I don't think the CFS has performed that well either. So I think there's got to be a question mark about this August. If I would suspect we're going to have a warmer, drier August than that is going for personally. But we'll have another look next week. Let's have a look at the generic chart sign before I go for the next week. And here we are for Wednesday. No problems there at all. High pressure is really dominating over Scandinavia, bringing this hot easterly flow off the continent. That's a very warm, summery scenario. And that sort of goes on then as we go through the rest of the period. So as we go up towards the 25th of July, the high pressure is dominating, actually being reinforced a little bit by the Azores high. So very warm next week. It's going to be a warm week, a hot week at times, with temperatures certainly by midweek getting back into the mid-80s Fahrenheit. The high pressure is still there as we go on into Saturday, on into Sunday the 27th, and through to Monday the 28th. High pressure is still dominant, maybe turning a little bit more thundery from the south and southwest, but really it's a hot, dry, very warm type scenario throughout most of next week. So we've just seen long-range charts showing this deterioration as we get through to the end of July. There's no sign of it yet on the shorter range charts. We'll have to see whether it does start to show up on the shorter range charts. The ECMWF again for the middle of next week. High pressure, bring dry, mainly dry anyway, could be a few thunderstorms chat about, but mainly dry, hot and fine weather. That goes on through to the end of next week as well. Going to be a very summery week next week. Head off to the coast if you want to go on holiday next week. It's going to be really good. Through the weekend of the 26th, 27th on to the 28th of July. Things perhaps turning a little bit more unsettled out to the northeast, but I'm not sure about that really. The general idea is still for this high pressure to be around, ridging into the country, keeping it pretty warm, pretty dry. So as I say, we've got this just turn that off, there we go. We've got this discrepancy between the long range models and the shorter range models for the end of July. I think what we can say is that all models are agreeing that next week is going to be very warm, dry. There could be thunderstorms threatening at times, probably particularly out to the south-southwest, but a lot of dry weather next week and pretty hot. As we get through to the final week of July, that's when we get this discrepancy. The longer range models want to show things turning more unsettled and eventually cooling it down as we go through into August, back towards where we should be. Whereas the shorter range models, the GFS and the E70UF, going out today, 10 anyway, not really showing this deterioration through the second week of July. They want to keep high pressure going through to the end of July, I think, which would have the effect of keeping it pretty dry and pretty warm. So we're going to have to wait and see how things pan out, but certainly next week it's going to be a very warm, if not hot week, and that's going to be the main focus of the weekend forecast tomorrow. So come back for that, particularly if you like hot weather. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.